In the heart of a bustling city where skyscrapers pierced the clouds like arrogant fingers, billionaire tech mogul Alexander Hale stormed through the gates of his sprawling mansion one rainy afternoon. He was early, uncharacteristically so, after a board meeting had ended in disaster, his latest merger falling apart like a house of cards. Fuming, he tossed his briefcase aside and headed for the garden, seeking solace in the one place that reminded him of his late wife. But what he saw through the rain-streaked French doors stopped him dead. His 12-year-old daughter, Lily, paralyzed from the waist down since a tragic car accident 2 years ago, was laughing, actually laughing, as a scruffy boy about her age twirled her wheelchair in a makeshift dance under the gazebo. The boy's clothes were ragged, his hair matted from the downpour, but his movements were fluid, joyful, as if the storm itself was their orchestra. Alexander's blood boiled. Who was this intruder? And how dare he touch his precious daughter? Alexander Hale had built his empire from nothing, a self-made man whose software company revolutionized data security worldwide. At 45, he was a widower, his wife Elena taken by the same accident that left Lily confined to her chair. Elena had been the heart of their family, a former dancer who filled their home with music and movement. Now, Alexander drowned his grief in work, leaving Lily in the care of nannies and therapists. He provided everything money could buy, state-of-the-art medical equipment, private tutors, even a custom-built home gym. But emotional connection? That was a luxury he couldn't afford. Lily, once a vibrant girl who dreamed of ballet like her mother, had withdrawn into a shell of silence and resentment. Her days blurred into therapy sessions and lonely hours staring out windows, her legs lifeless reminders of what was lost. She rarely smiled, let alone laughed, and Alexander's attempts at bonding felt forced, like business negotiations. The boy, Tommy Ruiz, was a stark contrast, a 13-year-old orphan scraping by on the streets after his parents died in a fire that razed their modest apartment. Tommy had been a street performer, dancing for coins in subway stations, his natural talent inherited from his Puerto Rican father, a salsa instructor. Homeless for over a year, he dodged foster homes and child services, surviving on wits and the occasional kindness of strangers. But beneath his tough exterior beat a heart full of empathy. He'd seen suffering in the alleys and shelters, and it made him fiercely protective of the vulnerable. That fateful day, he'd snuck into the Hale estate through a loose fence panel, drawn by the sound of faint music from Lily's room. Peeking in, he saw her alone, tears streaming as she watched old videos of her mother dancing. Something stirred in him, a shared love for rhythm, and before he knew it, he was knocking on the glass, offering to show her a move or two. As Alexander burst into the garden, umbrella forgotten in the rain, he bellowed, "Get away from her!" Tommy froze, his arms mid-twirl around Lily's chair, while Lily's laughter died, her face paling with fear. "Dad, wait, it's not what you think," she pleaded, but Alexander was already dialing security. Tommy bolted, slipping through the fence like a shadow, leaving Lily in tears. That night, Alexander paced his study, replaying the scene. Anger gave way to curiosity. How had this boy made Lily light up when millions in therapy couldn't? Guilt gnawed at him. He'd been so absorbed in his empire that he'd missed the emptiness in her eyes. Determined to protect her, he hired a private investigator to track the boy down, but what he uncovered shattered his assumptions. The investigator's report painted a picture of resilience. Tommy lived in an abandoned warehouse with other street kids, busking by day and dodging dangers by night. He'd been spotted helping elderly homeless folks, sharing his meager earnings, and even teaching dance to younger orphans. One witness recounted how Tommy had once defended a disabled veteran from muggers, using his agility to outmaneuver them. Alexander's initial fury softened. This wasn't a thief or delinquent, but a kid fighting for survival. Meanwhile, Lily confronted her father, her voice trembling with rare defiance. "He didn't pity me, Dad. He just danced with me, like I was normal." Her words hit like a punch. For the first time, Alexander saw the depth of her isolation, not just physical, but emotional. She missed connection, joy, the simple act of being seen as more than a patient. Driven by a mix of remorse and intrigue, Alexander ventured into the city's underbelly the next evening, his luxury car drawing stares in the rundown district. He found Tommy performing on a street corner, his feet flying to a beat from a battered boombox, a small crowd tossing coins. As the performance ended, Alexander approached, his tailored suit soaked in the neon glow of nearby signs. "You're the boy from my garden," he said flatly. Tommy's eyes widened in recognition, ready to run, but Alexander held up a hand. "I'm not here to call the cops. I want to talk." Skeptical, Tommy agreed to a nearby diner, where over greasy burgers, stories unfolded. Tommy spoke of his parents' fire, the system that failed him, and how dance kept him alive. "It's the only thing that makes sense," he said, eyes distant. Alexander shared about Elena and the accident, admitting his failures as a father. For hours, they talked, barriers crumbling like old walls. But challenges loomed large. Tommy's trust was fragile. Years on the streets had taught him that kindness often came with strings. When Alexander offered him a room in the mansion, temporarily, to teach Lily dance therapy, Tommy balked. "I don't need charity," he snapped, fearing he'd be seen as a project. Lily, too, faced hurdles. Her paralysis stemmed from spinal damage, and while physical therapy helped marginally, her mental blocks were steeper. She feared vulnerability, worried Tommy would tire of her limitations. Alexander grappled with his own demons. Letting a stranger into his fortified world meant risking exposure, and his board members whispered about distractions from business. Rumors spread in high society. The mogul harboring a street kid? It threatened his image, his deals. Yet, persistence won. Tommy moved in, starting with supervised visits. He taught Lily adaptive dance, moves from her chair, focusing on upper body grace, incorporating wheels into spins. Their sessions were magic. Laughter echoed through halls once silent, music blasting from speakers. Lily bloomed, her confidence growing as she mastered routines. Tommy found stability, hot meals, and a bed, but more importantly, family. Alexander watched from afar at first, then joined, clumsily attempting steps that drew giggles from both kids. Bonds formed slowly, tested by setbacks. One night, Tommy had a nightmare about the fire, waking screaming. Lily wheeled to his room, comforting him with stories of her mom's courage. Another time, Lily's frustration peaked during therapy. She couldn't stand, no matter how hard she tried, and she lashed out, pushing Tommy away. "I'm broken. Why bother?" she cried. Tommy knelt, eyes fierce. "You're not broken. You're different. And different can be beautiful." His words echoed Elena's philosophy, stirring Alexander to tears. External pressures mounted. Child Services caught wind of Tommy's situation, threatening to place him in foster care unless Alexander pursued legal guardianship. The process was grueling. Background checks, home visits, court hearings. Alexander's rivals exploited it, leaking stories to tabloids. Billionaire's bizarre adoption bid. His stock dipped, investors pulled out. Internally, jealousy flickered. Lily worried Tommy would replace her in her dad's affections, while Tommy feared being a burden. A pivotal crisis hit when Lily suffered a health scare, an infection from her immobility, landing her in the hospital. Tommy refused to leave her side, dancing silly jigs by her bed to cheer her. Alexander, facing boardroom ultimatums, chose family over fortune. He stepped down as CEO temporarily, delegating to focus on them. Resolution came in waves. The court approved guardianship, Tommy officially becoming part of the Hale family. Lily's therapy advanced. With Tommy's encouragement, she tried experimental treatments, regaining partial sensation in her legs. Not a full recovery, but enough to stand with braces for brief moments. Her first dance on feet in years. Alexander rebuilt his company leaner, incorporating philanthropy, a foundation for homeless youth and adaptive arts programs. The shocking act that stunned everyone? At a gala fundraiser, Alexander publicly announced donating half his fortune to the cause, crediting Tommy and Lily as his inspirations. Whispers turned to applause. Society reeled at the tycoon's transformation from cold mogul to compassionate father. Years passed in a blur of growth. Tommy pursued dance professionally, opening a studio for underprivileged kids. Lily, now walking with AIDS, became an advocate for disability rights, her story inspiring millions. Alexander found peace, remarrying a kind therapist who embraced their unconventional family. The mansion, once a fortress, buzzed with life, parties, lessons, love. In the end, This tale reminds us that true wealth isn't in